In a world that moves at an unrelenting pace, where distractions pull us in countless directions, it's easy to feel untethered, disconnected from ourselves, others, and the present moment. We chase fleeting goals, drowning in a sea of noise, yet the peace we seek often eludes us. But what if the secret to a fulfilled and harmonious life lies not in adding more, but in noticing what is already here? Mindfulness is that gentle awakening, a practice of returning home to the now, where clarity emerges and true happiness resides. This book invites you on a journey to rediscover the profound beauty in the ordinary, embrace life with open-hearted presence, and cultivate a sense of peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. Step by step, you'll learn how to anchor yourself in the moment, transform challenges into growth, and uncover the deep joy of simply being. Mindful living isn't just a practice, it's a way of life, offering a sanctuary amidst the storm. Chapter 1. The Essence of Mindfulness. In our constant striving for more, we often overlook the profound truth that life unfolds only in the present moment. The past is a memory, the future a projection. Yet, how often do we find ourselves caught in their grasp? Mindfulness invites us to step out of this cycle and into the richness of the now. It is not merely a technique or a fleeting experience, but a way of being, a practice of awakening to the present with openness, curiosity, and non-judgment. At its core, mindfulness is the art of awareness. It is not about controlling the mind or banishing thoughts, but about cultivating a clear, compassionate attention to what is happening here and now. Whether it's the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body, the sound of the wind rustling leaves, or the weight of your feet on the ground, mindfulness teaches us to anchor ourselves in the simplicity of the present moment. And in doing so, we discover something extraordinary. Peace is not something to be found. It is something we uncover within. Why does mindfulness matter? Because it reconnects us to the truth that happiness is not found in chasing after fleeting pleasures or avoiding discomfort, but in embracing life as it is. Consider how often we tell ourselves, "I'll be happy when." When we achieve a goal, fix a problem, or reach an imagined destination, we believe happiness will finally arrive. Yet, even when we attain those things, the sense of fulfillment is often short-lived. Mindfulness reveals that true happiness arises when we stop resisting reality and learn to be fully present with it. It invites us to drop our endless striving and instead cultivate gratitude and acceptance for the moment we're in. This does not mean complacency or passivity, but a radical shift in perspective, one that allows us to find joy in the journey rather than fixating solely on the destination. The practice of mindfulness also fosters resilience. When we learn to observe our thoughts, emotions, and experiences without being swept away by them, we begin to respond to life's challenges with greater clarity and wisdom. This capacity to pause, to be present, transforms how we engage with the world, allowing us to meet difficulties with grace and gratitude. At first glance, mindfulness might appear similar to concentration, but the two are fundamentally different. Concentration is about narrowing focus, fixing attention on a single point, such as a task or a thought. While this has its merits, it can be limiting. Mindfulness, on the other hand, is expansive. It is an open, receptive awareness that encompasses the fullness of the present moment. It's not just about noticing what you're paying attention to, but how you're relating to it. Imagine drinking a cup of tea. Concentration might have you focus solely on the act of lifting the cup and sipping. Mindfulness, however, invites you to experience the texture of the cup in your hands, the warmth of the liquid, the aroma wafting upwards, and the sensation of the tea on your tongue, all while remaining aware of the emotions and thoughts that arise in the background. Mindfulness is a state of being fully alive, fully engaged, and fully aware. The beauty of mindfulness lies in its accessibility. It does not require elaborate rituals or special equipment. It simply requires you to show up for your life. When you practice mindfulness, you cultivate a quality of presence that brings clarity, peace, and joy to even the simplest moments. Clarity arises because mindfulness clears the fog of habitual thinking. It allows you to see things as they are, rather than through the distorted lens of assumptions, judgments, or fears. This clarity helps you make wiser decisions, both in the mundane and profound aspects of life. Peace follows naturally when you learn to accept the present without resistance. Imagine the relief of no longer battling against what is, of no longer being at war with yourself or the world. Mindfulness creates a space of stillness within, even amidst external chaos. And then there is joy, the spontaneous, uncontrived happiness that bubbles up when you are fully present. This joy is not dependent on external circumstances. It arises from the simple act of being. A child's laughter, the feel of sunlight on your skin, the rhythm of your breath. Mindfulness awakens you to these treasures that are so easily overlooked in the rush of daily life. Mindfulness is not something we master overnight. It is a practice, a commitment to showing up for ourselves again and again. It begins with small moments, a few conscious breaths, a pause to truly taste your food, or a quiet moment to listen to the rain. Over time, these moments accumulate, transforming not only how you experience life, but who you are at your core. The essence of mindfulness lies in its simplicity. It is a journey back to yourself, to the present, to the only moment where life truly unfolds. As you explore the practices in this book, remember that mindfulness is not about perfection. It is about presence. Approach it with kindness, patience, and a sense of curiosity. Let it guide you into the heart of the now, where peace and happiness await, not as distant goals, but as companions in every moment. So, take a breath, and let us step into this practice together. The journey begins here, in this very moment. Chapter 2. Anchoring yourself in the present. In the whirlwind of modern life, it is easy to feel as though we are perpetually being pulled in 1,000 directions. Our minds leap from the regrets of the past to the anxieties of the future, rarely pausing to rest in the moment that truly exists, the here and now. Yet, the present is where life is happening. It is the only place where we can find clarity, connection, and peace. Learning to anchor ourselves in this moment is not just a skill, it is an act of liberation. Mindfulness teaches us that the present moment is always available to us, no matter how chaotic life becomes. But how do we return to it when distractions, emotions, and worries threaten to pull us away? Anchoring yourself in the present requires intention, practice, and patience. It begins with recognizing when you've drifted and gently guiding yourself back to the here and now, again and again, like a sailor steering a ship toward the shore. Life unfolds in moments, each one unique and fleeting. When we rush past them, we lose not only the richness of experience, but also our connection to ourselves and others. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we reclaim this connection and allow life to reveal itself in its fullness. Consider the difference between living mindlessly and living mindfully. In a state of distraction, even a beautiful sunrise can go unnoticed. But when you bring your attention fully to the moment, the colors painting the sky, the crisp morning air, the silence before the world stirs, it becomes a profound experience, a reminder of life's wonder. Returning to the present is also essential for inner peace. Worries about the future and regrets about the past often create unnecessary suffering. When we learn to let go of these mental distractions and focus on the now, we find that most of our problems exist only in our minds. The present moment, by contrast, is often simpler and more manageable than we imagine. Anchoring yourself in the present does not require dramatic changes to your lifestyle. It begins with small, intentional practices that bring your attention back to where you are. These practices are not about forcing the mind to be still, but about gently guiding it back whenever it wanders. Mantra 1. Mindful breathing. The breath is one of the most powerful anchors to the present moment because it is always with us. To practice mindful breathing, simply bring your attention to the sensation of the breath as it enters and leaves your body. Notice the coolness of the inhale, the warmth of the exhale, the rise and fall of your chest. If your mind begins to wander, gently redirect it to the breath. Mindful breathing is not about changing your breath, but about noticing it as it is. This practice creates a sense of grounding, calming the mind, and bringing you back to the now. 2. Mindful walking. Walking is another simple yet profound way to cultivate presence. Rather than rushing to your destination, slow down and pay attention to the act of walking itself. Feel the weight of your body shifting with each step, the contact of your feet with the ground, the rhythm of your movement. As you walk, notice your surroundings, the colors, sounds, and textures of the world around you. Each step becomes an opportunity to reconnect with the present moment and with yourself. 3. Letting go of distractions. One of the greatest challenges to mindfulness is the constant pull of distractions. Thoughts, emotions, and external stimuli can easily take us out of the present. The key is not to fight these distractions, but to recognize them for what they are: temporary and often unnecessary. When a distracting thought arises, acknowledge it without judgment. You might say to yourself, "There goes my mind again." Then, gently guide your attention back to the present. This process of noticing and letting go is like training a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger your ability to stay present becomes. It is important to approach distractions with kindness rather than frustration. The mind's tendency to wander is natural. It is not something to resist or criticize. Instead, treat it as an opportunity to practice mindfulness. Imagine your thoughts as clouds drifting across the sky. You do not need to chase them or push them away. Simply observe them as they come and go, returning your focus to the present moment. With time, you'll find that your mind becomes less cluttered, creating space for clarity and peace. Anchoring yourself in the present moment is more than a practice. It is a profound shift in how you experience life. It allows you to see the beauty in the mundane, to respond to challenges with greater wisdom, and to cultivate a sense of calm amidst the storms of existence. Each time you return to the present, you are planting a seed of awareness that will grow into greater mindfulness over time. The moments may seem small, a single breath, a mindful step, but they add up to a life lived with intention and authenticity. Mindfulness is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when you drift away from the present, caught up in the tides of thought and emotion. This is not a failure, it is simply part of being human. The practice lies in noticing when you've drifted and choosing, with compassion, to begin again. Let the present moment be your anchor, your refuge, and your guide. It is always here, waiting for you to return. All it takes is a single breath to come home to yourself. Chapter 3. Embracing the Ordinary. In a world that often glorifies grand achievements and extraordinary experiences, the beauty of the ordinary can easily be overlooked. Yet, the essence of a mindful life is found not in rare, spectacular moments, but in the quiet simplicity of daily living. The mundane tasks we often rush through or dismiss as insignificant, washing dishes, drinking tea, folding clothes, hold profound opportunities for peace, presence, and joy. When we embrace the ordinary with mindful awareness, we discover that every moment, no matter how small, can be a gateway to transformation. There is a unique tranquility in giving our full attention to a single task. Consider the act of washing dishes. In a distracted state, it is a chore to be endured, a bridge to the next more important moment. But approached with mindfulness, it becomes an act of grounding and presence. Feel the warmth of the water as it flows over your hands, the texture of the plate, the movement of the sponge. Notice the sound of the running water, the bubbles forming and dissolving. In these sensations lies an invitation to be fully here, to let go of distractions and immerse yourself in the simplicity of the act. When we transform mundane tasks into moments of mindfulness, we are not just washing dishes or folding clothes. We are cultivating peace within ourselves. These small acts become a form of meditation, a pause from the rush of the world where we can reconnect with the present and with ourselves. Mindfulness allows us to see beauty in places we often overlook. A cup of tea, for example, is no longer just a beverage. When approached with intention, it becomes an experience. Notice the warmth of the cup in your hands, the aroma rising with the steam, the taste of the tea as it touches your tongue. Each sip becomes an act of gratitude, a moment of stillness in a busy day. This appreciation for simplicity extends beyond tasks to the world around us. The way sunlight filters through leaves, the sound of rain tapping against a window, the rhythm of your own breath. These are all quiet miracles we so often miss. Mindfulness opens our eyes to this subtle beauty, reminding us that life's richness is found not in grandiosity, but in the details. Everyday routines offer endless opportunities to practice mindfulness. By bringing intention and awareness to the things we do every day, we can transform the ordinary into something extraordinary. Washing dishes. Instead of hurrying through the task, slow down and focus on the sensations. Feel the texture of the dishes, the warmth of the water, and the rhythm of your movements. Allow the task to ground you in the present. Drinking tea or coffee. Take a moment to truly savor your drink. Notice its aroma, taste, and warmth. Let each sip bring you back to yourself. Folding clothes. Turn this often mundane task into a meditation by focusing on the texture of the fabric, the act of smoothing wrinkles, and the gentle rhythm of folding. These small, intentional acts remind us that life does not need to be extraordinary to be meaningful. The difference between a routine and a ritual lies in the presence and intention we bring to the act. A routine is something we do out of habit, often without thinking. A ritual, on the other hand, is an act imbued with meaning and mindfulness. Consider the way you begin your day. Instead of rushing through the motions, try creating a morning ritual. Perhaps you start by taking a few deep breaths, expressing gratitude for the new day, and sipping your coffee or tea with full awareness. This small shift transforms your morning from a series of tasks to a moment of grounding and presence, setting the tone for the day ahead. Similarly, bedtime can become a ritual of letting go. Taking a few minutes to reflect on the day, acknowledging its highs and lows with compassion, and practicing mindful breathing before sleep can help you release tension and cultivate peace. These rituals are not about adding more to your to-do list. They are about bringing a sense of sacredness and presence to the things you are already doing. When we embrace the ordinary with mindfulness, we discover that life is not something to be chased after or achieved. It is something to be lived, moment by moment. The mundane tasks we once saw as burdens become opportunities for connection and peace. The quiet details of our lives, often overlooked, become sources of wonder and joy. This shift in perspective has a ripple effect. When we approach the ordinary with gratitude and presence, we carry that energy into everything we do. Our relationships deepen as we become more present with others. Our work becomes more fulfilling as we approach it with intention. Our days, once hurried and scattered, take on a sense of calm and purpose. Life is made up of small moments. By embracing the ordinary with mindfulness, we honor these moments for what they truly are, the fabric of our existence. There is no need to wait for a special occasion or a rare experience to feel alive and at peace. The opportunity is here, in this very moment, in the simplicity of washing a dish, folding a shirt, or sipping a cup of tea. Let mindfulness be your guide as you navigate the ordinary. Allow it to reveal the beauty and depth that have always been there, waiting for you to notice. When you do, you may find that the peace and fulfillment you've been seeking have been with you all along. Chapter 4. The Art of Deep Listening. In the cacophony of our modern world, genuine listening has become an endangered practice. We often hear, but how often do we truly listen? Real listening, the kind that connects hearts and bridges divides, is a profound act of mindfulness. It requires us to be fully present, to silence the inner dialogue that insists on preparing responses, and to meet the other person with an open, compassionate heart. This art of deep listening is not just about understanding words. It's about understanding the person behind the words. When we listen deeply, we offer a gift that can transform relationships, heal wounds, and bring us closer to others and ourselves. At the heart of deep listening is empathy. To truly listen is to step into another person's world, to see life through their eyes and feel it through their heart. It is to temporarily set aside our judgments, opinions, and agendas, and focus entirely on the speaker. This is no easy task in a culture that values being heard over hearing, where conversation often becomes a competition of whose voice is loudest or whose story is most compelling. Deep listening challenges us to slow down and give our full attention to another. It is an act of mindfulness, as we consciously bring our awareness to the present moment, to the words being spoken and the emotions they carry. This intentional presence creates a space where the speaker feels seen, heard, and understood, a rarity in a world that often rushes past. Empathy grows in this space of connection. When we listen without the need to fix, advise, or interject, we communicate a powerful message. Your experience matters. This kind of listening strengthens bonds, fosters mutual respect, and deepens understanding in ways that words alone cannot. One of the greatest barriers to deep listening is the compulsion to judge or respond. Our minds are quick to analyze, categorize, and critique. As someone speaks, we might silently assess their perspective or mentally craft our reply. This habit takes us out of the present moment and shifts our focus from the speaker to ourselves. Mindful listening invites us to let go of this urge. Instead of preparing a response, we can simply be present. Instead of judging, we can approach the speaker with curiosity and openness. This doesn't mean we must agree with everything we hear, but it does mean creating space for the other person's truth to exist alongside our own. When we let go of the need to respond, we become better listeners. We notice not only the words, but also the pauses, the tone, and the unspoken emotions. We become attuned to the nuances of the conversation, to what is being said, and what remains unsaid. In this way, listening becomes an act of discovery, a chance to learn not only about the speaker, but also about ourselves. Staying present during a conversation is a skill that requires practice and intention. Here are some techniques to cultivate deep listening. 1. Pause and ground yourself. Before engaging in a conversation, take a moment to center yourself. A few deep breaths can help you let go of distractions and anchor yourself in the present. 2. Focus on the speaker. Give your full attention to the person speaking. Maintain eye contact, nod to show you're listening, and avoid multitasking. Let your body language convey that you are fully there. 3. Silence, your inner dialogue. Notice when your mind starts to wander or when you begin crafting a response. Gently bring your focus back to the speaker's words. 4. Listen with curiosity. Approach the conversation with a sense of wonder. Instead of assuming you know what the speaker will say, listen as if you're hearing their story for the first time. 5. Reflect and validate. When the speaker pauses, reflect back what you've heard. This doesn't mean parroting their words, but summarizing their feelings or thoughts to show you understand. For example, it sounds like you're feeling frustrated about the situation. Mindful listening has a transformative effect on relationships. In moments of conflict, it can diffuse tension by making the other person feel heard and respected. In times of vulnerability, it can offer comfort and support by creating a safe space for sharing. In everyday interactions, it can deepen connections by fostering mutual understanding and trust. Consider the last time you felt truly listened to. How did it feel to have someone give you their undivided attention, to hear not only your words but also your emotions? That experience likely left you feeling valued and cared for. This is the power of mindful listening. It heals by affirming our shared humanity. Relationships flourish when we listen with our whole being. It allows us to move beyond surface-level exchanges and into the realm of authentic connection. We come to know not just what the other person thinks, but who they are. And in knowing them, we grow closer to knowing ourselves. Deep listening is an art, a practice, and a gift. It requires us to slow down, let go of distractions, and be fully present with another. It calls on us to cultivate empathy, silence our judgments, and listen not just with our ears, but with our hearts. In a world that often feels noisy and disconnected, the act of deep listening is a revolutionary one. It reminds us of the power of presence, the beauty of understanding, and the healing potential of compassion. So the next time someone speaks to you, pause. Be present. Listen, not to reply, but to understand. In doing so, you may find that the art of listening is not just about hearing others. It is about discovering the profound connections that unite us all. Chapter 5. Dealing with difficult emotions. Life's beauty and complexity are deeply intertwined with our emotions. From joy to sorrow, anger to peace, our feelings color the world around us. Yet when faced with difficult emotions, fear, sadness, frustration, or guilt, we often react instinctively. We push them away, suppress them, or become consumed by their intensity. In doing so, we miss an opportunity to understand, heal, and grow. Mindfulness offers a transformative path forward. Instead of resisting our emotions or being overwhelmed by them, we learn to meet them with presence, curiosity, and compassion. Our instinct when faced with uncomfortable emotions is often to resist. We tell ourselves, "I shouldn't feel this way," or distract ourselves to avoid the discomfort. But emotions are not problems to be solved. They are signals, messengers of our inner world. By ignoring or suppressing them, we only intensify their grip on us. Mindfulness teaches us to turn toward our emotions rather than away. This begins with acknowledgement. When anger, sadness, or anxiety arises, pause and name it. This is anger. This is sadness. This is fear. By identifying the emotion, we create a sense of distance, allowing ourselves to observe it without being consumed by it. Acceptance follows acknowledgement. To accept our emotions does not mean we approve of or enjoy them. It means recognizing their presence without judgment. Emotions, like waves in the ocean, come and go. Acceptance is the practice of standing firm on the shore, allowing the waves to wash over us without trying to stop them or being swept away. Resistance to emotions creates suffering. When we fight against sadness, we often deepen our despair. When we resist anger, it can fester into resentment. Non-resistance, on the other hand, allows emotions to move through us, teaching us their lessons and then dissipating naturally. Non-resistance does not mean passivity. It is an active choice to face our emotions with courage and presence. It means saying, "I see you, anger. I feel you, sadness. You are part of me, and I am here to hold you." This approach disarms the intensity of our emotions, transforming them from adversaries into teachers. When we embrace non-resistance, we discover that even the most difficult emotions have value. Anger, when mindfully observed, can reveal boundaries that need to be respected. Sadness can deepen our empathy and appreciation for joy. Fear can guide us toward greater self-awareness and courage. By resisting the urge to reject our emotions, we unlock their wisdom and move toward healing. Mindfulness invites us to meet our emotions with compassion. This begins with recognizing that to feel is to be human. Difficult emotions are not signs of weakness or failure. They are universal experiences that connect us to others. Self-compassion involves treating ourselves with the same kindness we would offer a dear friend. When we are overwhelmed by guilt, sadness, or anger, we can place a hand on our heart and say, "It's okay to feel this way. I'm here for you." This simple act of kindness creates space for healing. Emotional awareness is another key component of mindful living. Often, what we perceive as a single emotion is a complex web of feelings. For example, beneath anger, we might find hurt or fear. Beneath sadness, we might uncover longing or love. Mindfulness helps us untangle these layers, giving us clarity and insight into our emotional landscape. When emotions become overwhelming, They can cloud our judgment and lead to impulsive reactions. Mindfulness acts as an anchor in these turbulent moments, grounding us in the present and helping us respond rather than react. One powerful practice is mindful breathing. When a wave of anger or anxiety arises, pause and take a few deep breaths. Inhale slowly through the nose, hold for a moment, and exhale gently through the mouth. This simple act shifts our focus from the storm of emotion to the steady rhythm of the breath, creating space to process what we're feeling. Another technique is body scanning. Difficult emotions often manifest physically. Tightness in the chest, a lump in the throat, or tension in the shoulders. By bringing mindful attention to these sensations, we can ground ourselves in the present and release some of the tension that comes with emotional overwhelm. Finally, journaling can be a transformative tool for navigating emotions. Writing down what we're feeling allows us to express and explore our emotions without judgment. It provides clarity, helping us identify patterns and triggers while offering a sense of relief. Mindfulness does not promise a life free of pain or difficulty. Instead, it offers a way to meet life's challenges with grace and resilience. By acknowledging, accepting, and exploring our emotions, we become less afraid of them. We learn that no feeling is permanent, that even the darkest storm will pass. As you continue your journey toward mindful living, remember this: your emotions are not your enemy. They are companions on the path, guiding you toward greater self-understanding and growth. By befriending your emotions, you cultivate inner peace and resilience, creating a foundation for a richer, more compassionate life. So the next time a difficult emotion arises, pause, breathe, listen. Welcome it as you would a guest, knowing that it has come to teach you something valuable. And in this act of mindfulness, you will find not only peace, but also profound strength and wisdom. Chapter 6. Cultivating Gratitude and Joy. In the relentless pursuit of happiness, we often miss the treasures already present in our lives. Gratitude and joy are not distant rewards waiting at the end of a long journey. They are seeds we can cultivate daily. They reside not in what we lack or long for, but in what we already have and often overlook. Mindfulness shines a gentle light on these gifts, inviting us to see, appreciate, and savor the richness of life as it is. We live in a culture that often equates happiness with accumulation: more possessions, more achievements, more recognition. Yet, the more we chase, the more elusive happiness becomes. Mindfulness teaches us that abundance is not measured by what we possess, but by our awareness of what surrounds us. Pause for a moment. Take a breath. What can you notice right now? The warmth of sunlight streaming through a window? The laughter of a loved one in the distance? The steady rhythm of your heart, tirelessly sustaining you? These are the riches of the present moment, subtle, yet profoundly meaningful. Gratitude begins with a simple shift in focus, from what's missing to what's here. It's about recognizing the countless ways life supports us, even in its imperfections. Each breath is a gift. Each moment of connection is a treasure. By cultivating this awareness, we open ourselves to a sense of abundance that no external achievement can replicate. Our minds are wired to dwell on problems and perceive scarcity. It's a survival instinct. But what kept our ancestors safe can keep us trapped in dissatisfaction today. When we constantly focus on what we lack, we reinforce a narrative of insufficiency. I'll be happy when I have more money, more success, more love. Mindfulness disrupts this pattern by anchoring us in the present, where abundance can always be found. Practicing gratitude is a powerful way to shift this focus. Start by noticing small blessings. Each morning, list 3 things you're grateful for. It could be as simple as a good night's sleep or the taste of your morning coffee. Over time, this practice retrains your brain to seek and savor the good, creating a mindset of appreciation rather than lack. Gratitude, like any skill, deepens with practice. Here are some mindfulness exercises to nurture this quality. 1. The gratitude pause. Throughout the day, Take brief moments to pause and reflect. What is one thing I can be grateful for right now? It might be the kindness of a stranger, the beauty of a flower, or even the resilience of your own body. 2. Gratitude. Journaling. At the end of each day, write down 3 things that brought you joy or comfort. Be specific. Don't just write, "I'm grateful for my family." Instead, note moments like, "I'm grateful for the laughter I shared with my sister during dinner." 3. The gratitude walk. While walking, bring your attention to your surroundings. Notice the colors of the leaves, the feel of the ground beneath your feet, or the rhythm of your breath. Silently express gratitude for these experiences, however small. 4. Loving kindness, meditation. During meditation, focus on sending gratitude and goodwill to yourself, loved ones, and even strangers. This practice not only fosters appreciation, but also deepens your connection to others. Joy is often misunderstood as a fleeting emotion tied to external events. In truth, joy is a state of being that arises naturally when we are fully present. It's not dependent on extravagant experiences, but on the simple act of paying attention to life's small wonders. Think of the last time you laughed uncontrollably, felt awe at a sunset, or experienced contentment in a quiet moment. These instances of joy were not manufactured. They emerged spontaneously when you were fully engaged with the moment. Mindfulness creates the conditions for such joy by grounding us in the now. When we stop rushing, striving, or dwelling on the past and future, we open ourselves to the beauty of the present. We begin to notice the sweetness of a smile, the warmth of a hug, or the melody of rain on a rooftop. These moments are not extraordinary. They are ordinary life seen through the lens of mindfulness. Gratitude and joy are inseparable. Gratitude is the soil in which joy grows. When we cultivate a grateful heart, we create space for joy to flourish. For example, consider how gratitude transforms the mundane. A meal becomes more than sustenance when you pause to appreciate the effort it took to bring it to your plate. The farmers who grew the food, the hands that prepared it, the flavors that nourish your body. This simple act of acknowledgement turns an ordinary moment into a celebration. Joy, in turn, deepens gratitude. When we experience joy, we naturally feel thankful for the source of that happiness. This creates a virtuous cycle. The more we practice gratitude, the more joy we experience, and the more joy we experience, the more grateful we become. In a world that often emphasizes what we don't have, choosing gratitude is a radical act. It's a declaration that we are enough, that life is enough, as it is. Gratitude doesn't ignore life's difficulties. It coexists with them, offering a counterbalance to our struggles. By living with a grateful heart, we cultivate a sense of joy that is unshakable. This joy is not about denying pain or pretending life is perfect. It's about seeing the beauty that exists alongside the challenges, the light that shines through the cracks. As you journey through life, remember this: gratitude and joy are always within reach. They don't require ideal circumstances or perfect conditions. They arise when we open our hearts to the present moment, savoring its gifts and trusting in its abundance. Pause, breathe, look around. What can you be grateful for right now? Whatever your answer, let it remind you that joy is not something to be chased. It's something to be noticed, nurtured, and celebrated, right here, right now. Chapter 7. Silence as a Sanctuary. In an increasingly noisy world, silence has become a rare and precious commodity. Our lives are filled with the hum of traffic, the buzz of notifications, and the ceaseless chatter of our own minds. We often fear silence, mistaking it for emptiness or loneliness. Yet, when we dare to embrace it, we discover that silence is not a void, it is a sanctuary. It is within this stillness that we find clarity, peace, and the profound truths that lie hidden beneath the surface of our busy lives. Silence is the language of the soul. It is in the absence of noise that we can hear the gentle whispers of our innermost selves. Without silence, our thoughts and emotions can become overwhelming, like a river rushing unchecked. But when we introduce moments of stillness, the waters calm, allowing us to see clearly to the bottom. Inner peace cannot be found in constant activity or external achievements. It arises from the ability to be present with ourselves in silence, without distraction. Silence offers a refuge where we can process our thoughts, heal our emotions, and connect with the essence of who we are. It reminds us that peace is not something we must seek, it is something we uncover when we let go of the noise. In modern life, silence can feel uncomfortable. We've grown so accustomed to background noise that its absence can leave us unsettled. We fill every gap with music, podcasts, or endless scrolling, as though silence is a problem to be solved. But what if, instead of fearing silence, we welcomed it? Mindfulness teaches us to embrace silence as an ally, not an enemy. In stillness, we learn to face our thoughts without judgment and to sit with our emotions without distraction. The first step is to create small pockets of silence in our day, turning off the radio during a commute, pausing before replying to a text, or simply sitting quietly for a few minutes each morning. Over time, these moments of silence become an anchor, grounding us amid the chaos. They help us cultivate a sense of presence and inner stability that no amount of noise can shake. To invite silence into your life, it helps to create a mindful space where stillness can flourish. This doesn't have to be elaborate or formal. It can be as simple as a quiet corner in your home or a bench in a nearby park. The key is to make it a place where you can be alone with your thoughts without interruption. Begin by setting an intention for your silent time. Perhaps you wish to reflect on a challenge, center yourself before a busy day, or simply rest in the present moment. Bring mindfulness into this space by observing your surroundings, the texture of the chair you're sitting in, the light filtering through the window, the rhythm of your breath. As you sit in silence, resist the urge to fill it with thinking or planning. Instead, allow yourself to simply be. If your mind wanders, gently guide it back to the present moment. Over time, you'll find that silence becomes not just a break from the world, but a source of strength and renewal. Even in the midst of a noisy world, it is possible to cultivate inner silence. Here are a few practices to help you find stillness, no matter where you are. 1. Mindful breathing. Your breath is always with you, a constant rhythm amidst life's noise. When you feel overwhelmed, close your eyes and focus on the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body. Each inhale brings renewal. Each exhale releases tension. 2. Silent observation. Choose a moment in your day to simply observe without reacting. Watch the movement of people in a crowded street. Listen to the sound of the wind in the trees, or feel the texture of an object in your hand. These acts of quiet attention connect you to the present. 3. Digital detox. Noise isn't just external, it's also digital. Set aside regular times to unplug from devices, creating space for silence and reflection. Use this time to journal, meditate, or simply enjoy the peace of being disconnected. 4. Walking in silence. Take a walk without music, podcasts, or conversation. Focus on the sensation of your feet on the ground, the sights and sounds of nature, and the rhythm of your steps. Walking in silence is a powerful way to quiet the mind and reconnect with the body. Silence is not passive. It is deeply transformative. In the stillness, we gain insights that elude us in the rush of daily life. We notice patterns in our thoughts, clarity in our decisions, and calmness in our emotions. Silence teaches us to listen, not just to the world around us, but to ourselves. In relationships, silence can be a profound act of presence. When we resist the urge to fill every pause with words, we create space for true connection. We listen more deeply, respond more thoughtfully, and offer the gift of our full attention. Many spiritual traditions speak of silence as a gateway to wisdom. In silence, we transcend the surface chatter of the mind and touch something deeper, a sense of oneness with life itself. This is not an intellectual understanding, but a felt experience, a knowing that arises from being fully present. When we embrace silence, we realize that we are not our thoughts or the noise around us. We are the stillness beneath it all, the space in which everything arises and fades. This realization brings a profound sense of peace, reminding us that no matter how chaotic life becomes, silence is always within reach. As you move through life, let silence be your sanctuary. Seek it in the quiet of the early morning, the stillness of a sunset, or the pauses between breaths. Let it remind you of the vast, unshakable peace that resides within. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of everything that truly matters. Chapter 8. Living Mindfully in a Busy World. Modern life often feels like a race with no finish line. We sprint from one task to another, juggling work, family, and social commitments, all while being bombarded with endless notifications and demands. In this frenzy, mindfulness can seem like an impossible luxury, a quaint practice reserved for those with free time. Yet, it is in the chaos of a busy world that mindfulness becomes most essential. It is not about escaping our responsibilities, but about meeting them with presence, clarity, and a sense of calm. The first step to living mindfully in a busy world is recognizing that mindfulness is not something you add to your life. It is a way of being in your life. It's not about carving out hours for meditation or retreating from the world. Instead, it's about weaving moments of awareness into the fabric of your daily routine. Consider this: the busier you are, the more vital it is to pause and center yourself. A simple mindful breath between meetings or a few seconds of gratitude before a meal can transform your experience of the day. These pauses are not interruptions. They are opportunities to recalibrate, to remember that you are not just a doer of tasks, but a human being navigating the rich complexity of life. Mindfulness is not about slowing down the world, but about changing your relationship with it. When you approach your tasks with presence and intention, even the busiest day can feel meaningful rather than overwhelming. In a fast-paced life, time feels like the most precious and elusive resource. But perhaps it's not time we lack, it's clarity. Often, our busyness is driven by unconscious habits, multitasking, or saying yes to things that don't truly align with our values. Mindfulness helps us step back and evaluate where our energy is going and why. Start by noticing how you approach your to-do list. Are you rushing through tasks mindlessly, or are you giving each one your full attention? Are you prioritizing what truly matters, or are you caught up in what feels urgent but is ultimately unimportant? By bringing mindfulness to your choices, you can create a more intentional schedule. This might mean setting boundaries, delegating tasks, or even letting go of perfectionism. Mindfulness teaches us that saying no to one thing often means saying yes to something deeper: our well-being, our relationships, our peace of mind. Life's demands won't disappear, but mindfulness offers tools to navigate them with greater ease. One such tool is the practice of single tasking. In a culture that celebrates multitasking, this might seem counterintuitive. But when we divide our attention, we dilute our effectiveness and increase our stress. By focusing on one task at a time, we not only perform better, but also find greater satisfaction in the act itself. Imagine washing the dishes. You could rush through it, thinking about the next thing on your list, or you could approach it mindfully, feeling the warmth of the water, the texture of the soap, the satisfaction of a clean plate. The task hasn't changed, but your relationship with it has. This principle applies to everything from answering emails to playing with your children. Presence transforms even the mundane into something meaningful. Burnout is not just the result of doing too much. It's the result of doing too much without rest or reflection. Mindfulness encourages us to honor the natural rhythms of energy and rest. It reminds us that pauses are not signs of weakness, but acts of wisdom. Here are a few strategies to incorporate mindful pauses into your day. 1. The power of breath. Your breath is a built-in reset button. Throughout the day, Take a few moments to close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Inhale deeply, exhale fully, and feel the tension release. Even a single mindful breath can restore a sense of calm and presence. 2. Mini meditations. You don't need an hour to meditate. Even 1 minute of sitting quietly, noticing your breath or the sensations in your body, can help you recharge. These micro moments of mindfulness accumulate, creating a buffer against stress. 3. Mindful transitions. Pay attention to the spaces between activities. Instead of rushing from one task to the next, take a moment to pause and reset. For example, before starting a meeting, take a deep breath and set an intention to listen and engage fully. 4. Gratitude breaks. At any point in your day, pause and think of one thing you're grateful for. It could be as simple as a warm cup of coffee or the sunlight streaming through a window. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. Mindfulness doesn't mean doing less. It means doing what you do with full presence. When you approach your responsibilities mindfully, you may find that you accomplish more with less effort. The clarity and calm that mindfulness brings allow you to work smarter, not harder. Moreover, mindfulness helps you reconnect with the purpose behind your actions. Instead of feeling like a hamster on a wheel, you begin to see the deeper meaning in your work and relationships. You realize that even the busiest day is an opportunity to grow, to contribute, and to connect. Our culture often equates busyness with productivity and success. But mindfulness invites us to redefine success, not as the accumulation of accomplishments, but as the quality of our presence in each moment. Are you truly there for the people you care about? Are you finding joy in your work? Are you tending to your own well-being? By living mindfully, you shift from striving to thriving. You become less driven by external expectations and more aligned with your inner values. This alignment doesn't just benefit you, it creates a ripple effect. When you live with presence and balance, you inspire those around you to do the same. In the end, mindfulness is not about adding another task to your to-do list. It's about transforming the way you approach everything on that list. It's about finding peace in the midst of chaos, clarity in the midst of confusion, and joy in the midst of effort. Life will always be busy. But with mindfulness, you can meet its demands with grace, turning even the busiest moments into opportunities for growth, connection, and presence. Mindfulness doesn't change the pace of life. It changes the depth of your experience within it. Chapter 9. The Ripple Effect of Mindfulness. Mindfulness begins as a deeply personal journey, a quiet revolution within the mind and heart. But like a pebble dropped into still water, its effects extend far beyond the individual. The ripples of mindfulness touch every aspect of our relationships, communities, and ultimately, the world. While mindfulness may start as an inward practice, its true power lies in how it radiates outward, creating a more compassionate, peaceful, and understanding society. When you commit to living mindfully, you become a beacon of calm in a chaotic world. Your presence, steady, attentive, and compassionate, affects those around you, often in ways you may not immediately notice. Imagine entering a room where someone is genuinely at peace with themselves. Their groundedness has a quiet yet profound effect, inviting others to slow down, breathe, and feel safe. This is the power of mindfulness in action. It creates an atmosphere that encourages others to step out of their stress and into the present moment. Research supports this phenomenon. Studies show that emotions are contagious, spreading like wildfire through social groups. When you embody mindfulness, you transmit more than calmness. You share the capacity to respond to life's challenges with grace. This ripple effect can turn a simple act of presence into a catalyst for collective transformation. Communities thrive when individuals act from a place of awareness. Whether it's in families, workplaces, or neighborhoods, mindful individuals bring clarity to conversations, thoughtfulness to decisions, and empathy to conflicts. They model a way of being that inspires others to pause and reflect before reacting, ultimately fostering an environment of mutual respect and understanding. One of the most powerful ways to inspire others is not through words, but through actions. Mindfulness is not something you preach, it's something you live. When you approach challenges with patience and respond to difficulties with kindness, people notice. Your calmness becomes an anchor for those caught in the storm of daily life. Consider a parent practicing mindfulness. Instead of reacting harshly to a child's tantrum, they pause, breathe, and respond with understanding. This small moment not only de-escalates the immediate conflict, but also teaches the child a valuable lesson about emotional regulation. Over time, such interactions create a family dynamic built on trust, compassion, and mutual respect. In workplaces, mindful leaders inspire teams by creating spaces where everyone feels heard and valued. Their ability to stay present during meetings, listen deeply, and make thoughtful decisions sets a tone that encourages collaboration and innovation. Such leaders show that mindfulness is not about withdrawing from responsibilities, but about engaging with them more effectively. Mindful leadership is not reserved for CEOs or community leaders. It's something anyone can practice. A teacher who greets each student with genuine warmth, a nurse who listens attentively to a patient's concerns, or a friend who offers undivided attention during a conversation, these are acts of mindful leadership. They remind us that even small, everyday interactions can have a profound impact. One powerful example of mindful leadership comes from the late Thich Nhat Hanh, a Zen master who exemplified compassion in action. During times of war and turmoil, he advocated for peace not by taking sides, but by embodying understanding. His mindfulness retreats brought people from opposing backgrounds together, fostering dialogue and healing. His life's work shows how mindfulness can transcend personal practice and become a force for global change. Similarly, in communities around the world, grassroots leaders use mindfulness to address social and environmental challenges. They bring awareness to the root causes of problems rather than just addressing symptoms. By cultivating presence and compassion, they inspire collective action rooted in empathy rather than fear or anger. You don't need a grand platform to create ripples of mindfulness. Your daily interactions are enough. A kind word, a genuine smile, or a moment of attentive listening can shift the energy of an entire room. These seemingly small acts accumulate, creating a culture of mindfulness that extends far beyond you. Start by practicing mindful communication. When speaking, pause to consider whether your words are true, kind, and necessary. When listening, give your full attention, resisting the urge to interrupt or judge. These simple practices can transform relationships, fostering deeper connections and reducing misunderstandings. Another way to create ripples is by modeling mindful decision-making. In a world driven by haste, taking the time to reflect on your choices shows others that it's possible to live thoughtfully. Whether you're choosing how to spend your time, what to purchase, or how to respond to a conflict, your mindful approach inspires others to consider their own actions more carefully. Lastly, consider how your presence influences group dynamics. In meetings, family gatherings, or community events, your calmness can set the tone for others. When you remain centered, you encourage those around you to approach discussions with openness and patience. Imagine a world where mindfulness ripples through every corner of society. Teachers bring mindfulness into classrooms, helping children develop emotional intelligence and resilience. Healthcare workers approach patients with empathy and attentiveness, enhancing healing. Leaders make decisions not out of ego, but with a deep awareness of their impact on people and the planet. This vision is not utopian, it's entirely possible. The ripple effect of mindfulness begins with individuals but grows exponentially as it touches families, communities, and organizations. Each act of mindfulness adds to a collective wave of change, creating a world that values presence, compassion, and interconnectedness. The true legacy of mindfulness lies not in personal achievements, but in the impact it has on others. When you live mindfully, you leave behind more than memories. You leave a model of how to live with grace and intention. Your mindfulness becomes a gift to future generations, teaching them that peace is not found in external circumstances, but cultivated within. As the ripples of your mindfulness extend outward, remember that this journey is not about perfection, but about progress. Each mindful moment contributes to a larger tapestry of connection and harmony. By committing to this practice, you become a vital part of a global movement toward a more mindful and compassionate world. Your mindfulness matters. It matters not just to you, but to everyone you encounter. Let the ripples of your practice inspire others, creating waves of peace and understanding that reach farther than you could ever imagine. Chapter 10. A lifetime of practice. Mindfulness is not a destination, but a journey, an ongoing, ever-evolving practice that invites us to be fully engaged with life as it unfolds. It is easy to believe that with enough dedication, there will come a point when we have mastered mindfulness, but in reality, mindfulness is about the continuous process of returning to the present moment. There is no perfect state of mind, no final accomplishment, but instead, a lifetime of learning, growing, and deepening our awareness. This chapter invites you to embrace mindfulness as a lifelong companion, one that is patient with you as you navigate life's complexities and challenges. To view mindfulness as a destination is to misunderstand its essence. It is not something you achieve, but a practice you engage with every day, moment by moment. The beauty of mindfulness lies in its simplicity. It asks only that you show up with your full attention and openness, without expectations. In this sense, mindfulness is like planting a seed. It requires care and nurturing, but its growth is not linear. It may sprout quickly in some areas of your life and take time to grow in others. The journey of mindfulness doesn't follow a predictable path. There are times when you will feel deeply connected to the present moment, when your awareness flows effortlessly, and times when distractions pull you in 100 directions. Yet, in each of these moments, there is opportunity, the opportunity to return to the breath, to reconnect with the here and now. Even when mindfulness feels elusive, it is in these moments of struggle that you learn the most about yourself. One of the keys to mindfulness is consistency, but not in the way we often think of consistency in the fast-paced, goal-oriented world. Consistency in mindfulness means showing up again and again, even on the days when it feels like your practice is faltering. Mindfulness is not about perfecting the skill, but about cultivating a steady, non-judgmental awareness of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. There will be days when you lose your center, when your mind races with worries, or your body feels restless. These moments are part of the process, not signs of failure. Consistency in mindfulness means returning to the practice after every deviation, with compassion for yourself and a gentle awareness that the journey itself is the gift. Think of mindfulness as a muscle that you strengthen with repeated practice. Like any muscle, it may feel weak or underdeveloped at first, but with time and gentle effort, it grows stronger. There will be seasons in life when your practice feels effortless, and others when it requires more focus. The key is not to give up when it feels difficult, but to honor the process, knowing that every moment of mindfulness, no matter how small, contributes to a richer, more meaningful life. Mindfulness is not a path of linear progress. It is a winding road, full of detours and obstacles. Just as in any journey, there will be setbacks. There may be times when you feel disconnected from your practice, or when life's challenges seem too overwhelming to approach with presence and calm. These are the moments when it is most important to return to mindfulness. The practice of mindfulness includes embracing setbacks as part of the process. Instead of seeing a setback as a failure, recognize it as an opportunity to practice non-resistance. Life is inherently unpredictable, and mindfulness teaches us to accept things as they are, without judgment or frustration. Each setback is a chance to cultivate patience, resilience, and self-compassion. Imagine you are practicing mindful breathing, and your mind begins to wander, pulled away by thoughts of the past or future. Instead of chastising yourself for being distracted, mindfulness invites you to simply notice the distraction and gently bring your attention back to the breath. This process of returning is where the practice deepens. Each time you return to the present moment, you strengthen your ability to remain centered in the face of life's distractions. Like any relationship, your relationship with mindfulness requires care. It's easy to forget about it when life gets busy or overwhelming, but nurturing your mindfulness practice is essential to its longevity and depth. You can nurture your practice by carving out time each day for moments of quiet reflection. Whether it's a few minutes of mindful breathing in the morning, a mindful walk during lunch, or a brief moment of stillness before bed, these moments of pause accumulate and have a profound impact on your life. Another way to nurture mindfulness is through intentionality. As you go about your day, pause and ask yourself, how can I bring awareness to this moment? Whether you are drinking tea, having a conversation, or washing dishes, mindfulness can be woven into the fabric of everyday life. By approaching each moment with intention and presence, you transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. You may also find it helpful to create a mindfulness routine or ritual. This might involve setting aside time each day for meditation, or perhaps incorporating mindfulness into specific activities such as walking, eating, or exercising. These routines act as anchors, reminding you to return to the present moment and to reconnect with the core of your practice. Mindfulness is not just about finding peace in the moment. It is about creating a life of meaning and fulfillment. Over a lifetime, the practice of mindfulness reveals layers of wisdom and depth, transforming the way you engage with the world. Through mindfulness, you develop a deeper understanding of yourself, your relationships, and your connection to the world around you. As you continue your journey with mindfulness, you will find that it brings a sense of fullness to each moment, no matter how simple or complex. It allows you to see beauty in the everyday, to approach challenges with patience, and to find joy even in the midst of difficulty. Life's uncertainties become less frightening as you learn to navigate them with a sense of grounded awareness. Ultimately, mindfulness leads you to a place of deep inner fulfillment. It invites you to live each day with a sense of purpose and presence, knowing that no matter what life brings, you have the ability to remain centered and at peace. The lifelong practice of mindfulness offers a profound gift. The gift of living fully, of embracing each moment as it is, and of finding peace not in the destination, but in the journey itself. By cultivating mindfulness over a lifetime, you not only enrich your own life, but also contribute to the well-being of those around you. Your practice becomes a beacon of light, guiding others toward a life of greater peace, compassion, and connection. This is the true beauty of mindfulness. It is a gift that grows, expands, and continues to unfold, touching the lives of countless others along the way. Conclusion. In the end, mindfulness is not just a practice, it is a way of being. It is the art of showing up for life in all its beauty and complexity, with an open heart and an attentive mind. As you journey through life, remember that the true power of mindfulness lies not in its perfection, but in its presence. Every moment, whether still or chaotic, offers an opportunity to return to yourself, to reconnect with the peace that resides within. Embrace the ebb and flow of life's challenges, knowing that through mindfulness, you are cultivating a deeper connection to both yourself and the world around you. It is in the small, seemingly insignificant moments where mindfulness shines the brightest, revealing the profound richness that exists in the present. The path may not always be easy, but it is always worth walking. So, as you continue this lifelong practice, carry with you the understanding that peace is not something to be found in the future. It is something to be experienced, right here and now.